Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme. So, a bit has happened. As you can see, we've actually finished Faster Than Light Theory C, with the only SpaceX research remaining being the D research. Now, let's just have a quick look. I don't want to just start it just yet. I just want to have a look at it. You will notice that it's 2 million of everything except military and space science, and we only need one of each of these, and we need two of each of these. So it's actually 4 million red and 4 million green, a little bit like the one we've just done, except purple and yellow in there as well. If you recall from way back when we did the science, I did the capacity of red at 10,000 per minute, green 10,000 per minute, blue 5,000 per minute, purple and yellow 2,500 per minute. So the idea originally was that purple and yellow were supposed to accumulate 1 million while we were doing Faster Than Light Theory C. But as it happened, of course, we never managed to get them going because of throughput issues. We've finally got blue up to spec. I know for sure there's issues with having the whole thing running, because I know that I need green circuits at 295,000 per minute. And I need red at 45,000 per minute, and I need blue at 7,500 per minute, and that's just if we're only doing science and we're not doing launches at the same time. So we are still doing launches. If we go up here, you can see there's one on board the train waiting. This guy is counting up. It's a bit of a toss-up between the solar panels or the assembly bots as to which one is holding us up, because we need 3,200 solar panels. I guess probably it is the bots, but the bots are doing a lot better than they used to. And obviously we don't launch at 2 a minute when we're making such an expensive component, but and when there's only one, so it's we're having to wait for just this one item to manufacture. Once we get to the next phase, we'll be manufacturing at a greater rate. If for no other reason, then there'll be lots of different ones that could be being manufactured in parallel, assuming we have the resources to do so, and we certainly can't research and be doing that. We'll more or less just be researching. So the other thing was I have stamped down the copper, the extra copper in the east, which if we have a look at the map, it sort of comes up here, the stack. It's near this 143, and we'll also probably hook into the 90. That should be sufficient to get the copper going. I think though we should pay some attention to this insane congestion here. The reason is simple. If we have a look at our resources, and all of the sciences are back up to their buffer settings. The plates, well, steel's slightly light, but not by much. Copper is slightly light, but not by much. The circuits are where they're supposed to be, more or less. So, in other words, when all we're doing is these two satellites, not satellites, launching these assembly components, we're not using our capacity nearly enough, and so it's all sitting here. So what I'm going to do is and here, and yeah, and here, everywhere. So what I'm going to do is run back to the base. I don't want to bring my actually before I do this, I know I'm jumping backwards and forwards, it's just, I'll get the train off the tracks. I want to put in the connection to this main junction, which would be that. And to do it, we are going to need to make a hole. Let's just get down here so we're a little bit out of the way. There, we've broken the base now, so hopefully not for long. Right, that is what we need. And probably these things are not connecting up properly, so we'll need to do that. Probably don't need this one. We'll have to change that. Actually, we don't have to change that. We do need to connect these two though. Right, that should have fixed everything. Now, if we can just get the bots to finish building this bit. Create a supply depot. There it is. This time probably coming off in this direction. So the idea, I guess, is we'll get the supply train to come over here and build this thing while we go back to the main base and set up science or something to start using our resources. So outpost supply. Mainly mini poles. Inserters. Yeah, we're not out of rail. It's kind of wasting resources, but that's okay. I think, oh no, we're not out of the way yet. We're going to have to go up further than that. We need to be out of the way of the supply depot as well, which I think we now are. So we need those, and we need those. Whoops, and there was one other thing, wasn't there? Those. Let's come down here. Again, I have to do a small cheat to do some extra recharge, since my gear is more set up for running around than it is for maximum recharge. And this slot can go off. Just make sure that, yep, that does look promising. Need that extra light. Kind of looks like should be running a green. Okay, so this is everything that is in the copper thingy-bob. So we need 720 furnaces, and it's a little bit similar to the other one, so it's not so much that I want to take you through this process as setting up the science buffering. It was actually more the intent of the episode. Let's also get the 88 roboports, and then just from the beginning 2200 rail, I should be adding up these to make sure they can fit on the train. 2100 of those. Actually, they need to be at the end. There's no point getting them just yet. 2000 of these guys. Let's just see if we can fit all of that on a train. They stack in 50s, so that shouldn't be too bad. That's about 15. They stack in 5s, so that's about 30. These stack in 100s, so that's 22. Those stack in 50s, so that's 40. You know what, that'll do. Let's just get that going. Now, grab some construction bots. Get this thing full of bots, minus a few. Minus, say, 100. Take that off. Currently the bot network won't connect, so we will need to manually place some. moment, no. So, I might just leave it at that. So it's called supply outpost supply, isn't it? Yes. Just make sure that it is working. It does appear to be good. And we are on the wrong side of the track to go anywhere useful, so let's do a run. I will probably chop my run out. It's going to be boring. In fact, I will chop it out. So, and we're back. So, science beakers stack to 200, so you can fit 9,600 in a box. So, to store a million, in fact, let's well, to store a million, you basically therefore need 100 and a bit more boxes, right? 1, 2, 3, million divided by 9,600. You need 104 and a bit left over boxes, so 104, 105 boxes. Let's just tell it first of all to do the science, to start buffering up the science. If I can find where my science buffer control is, I think it is just at the top of the science stack over here. Right, so here we are. This is our science buffering stack, and basically what I want to do is say we want 1 million of those and we want 1 million of those. So that is going to immediately enable production of yellow and purple. In theory at 2,500 per minute, but there is no way that they'll go there because of we'll run into resource issues. I mean, this is only doing 2.2, 2.3, so it's not too bad. The yellow's not too bad, but purple, I mean, right at the moment there should be tons of resources, right? So they should be able to do the initial few seconds at full capacity, but they can't, so minute's still not working properly, but they can't obviously, so we obviously have some issues within the design of the sciences, as well as I mean, like with the blue that we had to fix up, as well as the fact that our throughput of raw resources is probably insufficient. So we will work out what those problems are, but I just wanted to get our so I guess the question is, how many boxes do we have already that they're loading into? So this is all the yellow science that we've got. Oops, wrong button. We should have, so we're doing, you normally do 2 every 14 seconds, but we've got sped up. We are sped up 5.5 times. Just do some maths quickly. Let's see if I can remember the maths. We get 2 every 14 seconds, which is 1 every 7 seconds. So I want to know how many I'm getting a minute, basically. 60 divided by 7 times 5.5 for the crafting speed, and times 1.4 for the productivity. So each assembly machine should be doing basically 66 per minute. So if we had 2500 and we divided that by 66, we should have 38 yellow assembly machines making yellow signs. And we'll have one box for each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 12. 24, 36, 38. There you go. Maths does work sometimes. So, what I want to do, if we've got 38 and I needed, what was it, 105 or 106, something like that. Means I need about 68. Don't have enough requested chests, but I'm sure they can deliver me some more. 68. So that would be, well, we could just do 7 rows of 10, couldn't we? So the last 3 too many. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll wait for them to bring us some more. Oh, we don't need to. 5, 6. Maybe we do. So 38 by 9,600 while we wait is 364,000. So clearly we won't get enough if we just fill up our yellow boxes. I wonder what their production levels are. It's still 2.2 and 1.8. Close enough. So each of these needs to be requesting yellow science in the amount of 9,600. And that will set up our buffering of yellow. So what we'll do is basically when all of this is complete and all of these have stopped, we will basically convert all of these to passive supply chests. Now the same sort of exercise with purple. What was the production figures with purple? Same. So we should have 38 purple as well. And it looks like these two are just making things. And down here we have all of the production itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so that's 16. Do we have 38, or is that what our problem is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ah, there you go. So that's 22. Yes, we do have 38. Well, there are some machines over here that aren't working. I wonder, does that explain what the issue is? Oh, they're already full, that's why. That's why they're not working. That is an issue with regard to how we set this up originally using passive chests so that we'd save a trip. So I mean, what you'd normally use to ensure that all of your assembly machines would work would be a active provider. It would then ensure that the box keeps getting emptied, and that would mean that all of your assembly machines would run at full capacity all the time. But it means also that you have an extra botch trip, as there's a trip just emptying these boxes constantly. And where am I going to store the purple? There's a little gap there. I doubt that's going to be big enough to do anything useful though. How wide is 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 is too wide. So, what we might do is 2 rows of 35 just on the other side of the path. Just check to see if that's 35. It is. And then, so it looks slightly better, let's move these to, whoops, that's not what I had in mind. Oh well, it's gone now. Take 2, 3, 4 off that end. Plug them in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then bring these guys here. So that'll give us 70 here. We'll get purple to deliver to us. Just going to while the machine's thinking about that, so steel. Steel's producing at a rate quite a bit less than it is being demanded, it would seem. Purple in the amount of 9,600. There we go. Let's see if that gets our production up at all. That's close to where it's supposed to be. In fact, that's at where it's supposed to be, and they pretty much both are. So that's a good sign. So that basically means that these areas are able to produce at the rate we require. But I am pretty certain that we're not producing, well, at least when we have full science, we're not producing enough green circuits, which will eventually slow down our advanced circuits and processing units for everything. So that is ultimately what our problem will be. Now, let's see if what is our production actually at the moment? So we're not doing blue, we're not doing green science, which impacts on things like processing units. Or does it? I don't actually think it does. Blue. No, they use red though. I might be overestimating how much blue I need. I know, 6.8. No, 4.9. 2.5, 2.3. Wonder if that's resource shortages already. Anyway, let's quickly take a look at what this has done to our congestion. And there you go. It's amazing what a little bit of demand will do for you. is stopping that going in? Oh, we're just in the way. Okay, well that was a bit of a bummer, but yeah, we have completely cleared along here and highlighted that the oil is getting drained at this rate now. Why are you both trying to go on the top run? The bottom one's perfectly good for you. We may have steel issues, partly because of still doing the dry dock assembly components at the same time. And we're well shy of another launch, unfortunately. But yes, so we just basically need to keep our factory busy now. What are the numbers while we're doing this? Modest in comparison to what we have been doing. There you go, 2.5, 2.5. We're not actually using them at all, so it's just what we're producing that matters. So it sort of works to spec. I guess that's the main thing. So what we'll do is now we will fill out the copper, get copper east set up. I then want to find a spot over here. I'll probably need some landfill to make some remote green circuits, since I'm not entirely sure if my calculation is correct now, but I am thinking that our green circuit supply is not going to hold up, but it does. It actually looks like it will. I guess it won't hold up when we have green and blue science as well going. PE. So blue science, electric mining drills and engine units. Electric mining drills use 3. Green circuits, engine units, not so much. And blue science also uses red circuits, which use 2, right? So that's another 50,000 green circuits for yellow, for blue. And green circuits, the yellow inserters use 1, is it? Yes, 1. So yeah, I guess there's about another 60,000 there. Well, these are only half. I must have overcalculated how much green I actually need, but still I am going to proceed with building green circuits external, and if it turns out that we can maintain blue, because I have built this to 7,500 per minute with the, well, that was my spec. If it turns out that we can do that, I guess we can do some launches while we do our final science. But anyway, that will have to do us for this episode. We seem to be back to congestion. Might need to enlarge the stacker. Can certainly do that. I would have thought I'd cured the congestion, perhaps not. Oh well, something to work on. So yes, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.